Hey everyone! Welcome back to Easy Speak World with Maya and Ethan, your favorite place where you learn real English through real conversations. Okay, so I need to ask you something, and I want you to be honest with me. Have you ever been in that moment where you're just done? Like, not dramatic, I quit done, but that quiet, exhausted kind of done, where you look at your goals, your plans, everything you said you were going to do, and you just think, what's even the point?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, Maya. More times than I'd like to admit, honestly.
Right? And the worst part is, it doesn't even feel like giving up. It feels like being realistic. Like your brain is trying to protect you by saying, hey, maybe this just isn't for you.
That's such a good way to put it. It disguises itself as logic.
Exactly. It wears a suit and carries a briefcase. Very convincing. And as always, I've got Ethan here with me today, and we are talking about something that I think every single one of our listeners has felt. This pull to just stop, to give up. And whether that's with learning English, a job, a relationship, a dream, it's all connected.
Yeah, Maya. And what's interesting is we don't usually talk about why it feels so hard. We just say, don't give up, like that phrase is supposed to do all the work. But there's a lot underneath that.
Oh, there's a whole iceberg underneath. And today we're going to go there. The uncomfortable parts, the honest parts. And along the way, naturally, because this is Easy Speak World, we'll be helping you with your English. Real phrases, real vocabulary, all in context. No textbooks, just conversation.
Like it always should be.
Before we dive in, if this is your first time here, welcome. And if you've been here before, you already know we love hearing from you. So here's our question for today. Have you ever wanted to give up on something and then didn't? What kept you going? Drop it in the comments. We genuinely read them. And if this kind of content helps you, hit like and subscribe. It means the world to us, and it helps more people find the show.
All right, so where do we even start with this?
I want to start with a word that we use a lot, but maybe don't fully understand. Resilience.
Good one.
Resilience. Resilience. It means the ability to recover from difficulties, to bounce back, like a rubber band that gets stretched really far but comes back to its shape.
That's actually a beautiful image.
Thank you. I thought of it myself. But here's the thing. Resilience isn't about never breaking. People think resilient people just don't feel pain, but that's not it.
Not at all. Resilient people feel it fully. They just don't let it be the final word.
Ooh, say that again. They don't let it be the final word. I love that.
It's like the pain gets a chapter, but it doesn't get to write the ending.
Okay, now you're being poetic and I'm not ready. But seriously, that is such a useful mindset. And it brings us to something I've been thinking about a lot lately, this idea of momentum.
Momentum, yeah, that's a big one.
Momentum, momentum, is the force that keeps something moving once it's already in motion. In physics, right? But emotionally, momentum means the energy that builds when you keep going, even just a little bit.
And here's the thing about momentum most people miss. You don't need to be going fast. You just need to be moving.
Yes, it doesn't have to be a sprint. It can be a shuffle. Just keep shuffling.
Ha, I like that. Keep shuffling.
And I think that's where a lot of people get it wrong. They think giving up is the opposite of going fast. But actually, giving up is the opposite of moving at all.
Right. Even one tiny step keeps the momentum alive. One vocabulary word, one page, one email you've been putting off.
See, and now we're getting practical. Because I think, and tell me if you agree, I think a lot of people give up not because they're weak, but because they're waiting to feel ready.
Oh, absolutely. That's one of the biggest traps there is.
The when I feel motivated trap.
Yes, as if motivation is supposed to come first and then action follows. But it's usually backwards.
It's completely backwards. Action comes first. Motivation follows. You do the thing, even when you don't want to, and then you start to feel the energy.
Psychologists actually call this the action motivation loop. You act, you see a small result, you feel motivated, you act again.
See, and I love that you said loop, because it's not a straight line. It's circles. You have good days, you have bad days, you come back around.
Exactly. And I think when people feel like giving up, they're usually at the lowest point of the loop, right before it would have come back up.
That is actually kind of heartbreaking and beautiful.
Both at the same time, yeah.
That's life, Ethan. That's just life.
So let's talk about something really specific here, because I think for our listeners who are learning English, this hits differently.
Oh, it does. Learning a language is one of the longest, most humbling journeys you can be on.
And the moments where you want to give up, they're very specific, aren't they? Like, it's not always, this is too hard. Sometimes it's, I've been doing this for months and I still sound like I'm 5 years old.
Oh, no. But yes, exactly. Or you understand everything when you're watching a podcast, like this one, and then someone talks to you in real life and your brain just goes offline.
Buffering.
Loading screen. And that gap between what you understand and what you can produce, that is brutal. And it makes people feel like they're failing.
But there's a phrase I want to introduce here. The plateau. Plateau. A plateau in nature is a flat stretch of land after a climb. And in learning, a plateau is that period where you feel like you've stopped improving, even though you're still working.
And plateaus are actually normal. Totally normal. Your brain is just consolidating. It's organizing everything you've learned before it can move to the next level.
It's like your brain is doing invisible housekeeping.
Yes, tidying up in the back. And then one day, click, something lands, and you realize you've grown without noticing.
That's the best feeling.
It really is. And here's a useful phrase for our listeners. Trust the process. It's very common in English, especially in sports culture. Trust the process means even when you can't see results, believe that the work is building something.
Trust the process. And I'd add to that, stay the course, which means keep going even when things are uncertain. Don't abandon the path just because you can't see the end of it.
Ooh, stay the course. I use that one. It feels very determined, very sailing into a storm, but you know where the island is.
Exactly. Very nautical of you.
Thank you. I'm a woman of the sea.
Okay, but Maya, let's get honest for a second. Because sometimes giving up is the right answer, right?
Oh, okay. Controversial opinion. Go on.
No, hear me out. There's a difference between giving up on something that's wrong for you and giving up because it's hard. One is wisdom. One is fear.
That is actually really important.
Because we've all been told never give up, like it's an absolute rule. But sometimes the goal itself needs to change. Not you, not your ability, the goal.
Right. Like if you've been trying to learn English with a method that genuinely isn't working for you, the answer isn't to suffer longer. It's to try a different method.
Exactly. Quit the method, not the dream.
Oh, that's quotable. Write that down, everyone. Quit the method, not the dream.
Put it on a mug.
I will. And here's a beautiful English word for that kind of smart pivoting. Adaptability. Adaptability. It means the ability to adjust and change when circumstances require it.
Adaptability is what separates people who eventually succeed from people who stay stuck. Not stubbornness, adaptability.
Stubbornness is holding on to the wall as the building falls. Adaptability is finding the door.
That is a great image.
I'm full of them today.
Let's take a breath and recap for a second, because we've covered a lot, and I want our listeners to make sure they're holding on to the good stuff.
Yes, please.
So we talked about resilience, the ability to bounce back. We talked about momentum, the force that builds when you keep moving, even slowly. We introduced the action-motivation loop. Action first, motivation follows. And then the plateau, that invisible growing period before the next breakthrough.
And the phrases, trust the process, stay the course, quit the method, not the dream, and adaptability, the wisdom to change what isn't working.
Solid list.
Not bad for a Tuesday.
Is it Tuesday?
I genuinely don't know. But later, we're going to talk about something even deeper, the emotional side of this, why we attach our identity to our goals, and why failing at something can feel like failing as a person.
Oh, that one's gonna hit.
It's going to hit, so stay with us. Okay, so identity. Here's something that I think about a lot. When we work toward a goal for a long time, we start to become the person trying to do that thing. Like, I'm someone who's learning English. I'm someone who's working on their business. I'm someone who's trying to get healthy.
It becomes part of who you are.
Exactly. And when you hit a wall or when you feel like giving up, it doesn't just feel like this task is hard. It feels like maybe I'm just not the kind of person who can do this.
Which is so much more painful, because now your sense of self is involved.
Right. And that's where the language we use matters enormously. There's actually research on this. People who say, I am a failure, do much worse than people who say, I had a failure.
Because one is identity and one is experience.
Exactly. I am a failure, permanent. I had a failure, temporary. One little word change, completely different psychology.
And this applies so directly to language learning. I am bad at English versus I had a bad day in English.
Yes, and it sounds simple, but it's genuinely powerful. Words shape how we see ourselves, and how we see ourselves shapes what we do next.
There's a great phrase in English for this, self-talk. The words we say to ourselves in our own heads, our inner monologue.
And most people's self-talk is not very kind.
Yeah, we say things to ourselves we'd never say to a friend.
Never. Like, imagine your friend came to you and said, I tried to practice English today and I made some mistakes. Would you say, wow, you're hopeless, you should just give up?
Obviously not.
Right. You'd say, it's okay. Mistakes mean you're trying. Keep going. So talk to yourself like that.
The phrase for this is be your own cheerleader. It's a common English expression. A cheerleader encourages, supports, lifts people up. Be that for yourself.
Be your own cheerleader. I need that on a wall in my house.
Okay, here's one more idea I want to bring in before we close. And it's about the word yet.
Oh, 3 letters. So powerful.
3 letters. Huge difference. Instead of I can't do this yet.
It opens the door. I can't do this is a wall. I can't do this yet is a hallway.
It implies that the ability is coming, that you're on the way, you just haven't arrived.
And for English learners, this is everything. I can't speak fluently. Okay, I can't speak fluently yet. Now you're on a journey instead of standing outside a locked room.
It's called a growth mindset, the belief that your abilities can develop with effort and time, as opposed to a fixed mindset, the belief that you either have it or you don't.
And honestly, most people who've ever become good at anything had a growth mindset. Not because they were born optimistic, but because they chose to believe the yet.
They kept the door open.
They kept the door open, even when everything was telling them to close it.
So let's bring this home.
Yes, what's our takeaway today?
I think it's this. Giving up is usually not a decision you make once. It's a feeling that comes back again and again, and each time you have a choice.
And sometimes the choice is hard, and sometimes you're exhausted, and sometimes you sit with it for a while.
And that's okay. Sitting with it is not the same as quitting.
Resting is not quitting. Processing is not quitting. Taking a break is not quitting. Quitting is when you close the door and walk away.
And even then, sometimes you can open it again.
Yeah, you can.
Doors don't lock forever.
Unless you lose the key. But even then, you can break a window.
Very dramatic, Maya.
I contain multitudes. Okay, our practical takeaway, our language takeaway, and then we wrap up.
Practical. The next time you feel like giving up, ask yourself one question. Is this hard because I'm in the wrong place, or hard because I'm growing? Because those are different kinds of hard.
And the language takeaway, use yet. Add it to your life. I can't do this yet. It's 3 letters and a completely different life.
Phrases to keep. Trust the process. Stay the course. Be your own cheerleader. Quit the method, not the dream. Growth mindset.
Beautiful. And vocabulary from today, resilience, momentum, plateau, adaptability, self-talk.
All in context. No flashcards required.
As it should be. Okay, before we go, our comment question for today is, what's one thing you almost gave up on but didn't? And what kept you going?
Tell us in the comments. Honestly, reading your stories is one of our favorite things.
It really is. And if this episode gave you something, a phrase, a feeling, a little more energy to keep going, please share it with someone who needs it. You never know who needs to hear, not yet.
And subscribe if you haven't already. We make new episodes every week. Real conversations, real English, real life.
We'll see you in the next one, everyone. Take care of yourselves.
And remember, keep shuffling.
Keep shuffling, even on the hardest days. We'll be right here.
Bye.